Welcome to a conversation with Senator Michael Moore. Here we are back again, as we've been promising everybody. We've been pretty faithful to doing it on a monthly basis. Okay,
This is actually the holiday edition.
this is a holiday edition. Okay, my name is Kevin Byrne, and I am talking and having conversations with Senator Michael Moore, who is our state our state senator. Hard words.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Say that 7 times.
Representing the second condition, condition, whatever he represents. And the communities he represents are Auburn, Grafton, Millbury, Shrewsbury, Westboro, and portions of the city of Worcester. Worcester, as we Bostonians call it. Worcester. Worcester, Massachusetts. Senator, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right, I am doing great. We are doing this program 2 days before Thanksgiving. And right at the moment, the rain has stopped. It was a very cold and rainy day. I had a rain jacket that I had to wear down here, and then I got down here, and the sun came out for a moment or two. But in any event,
Better rain than snow.
here we are. Oh, right. Knock on wood. Better rain than snow.
I get a little scared.
I
They
guess
were talking a nor'easter for a while.
The western part of the state, they say,
It's getting hit.
is going to get some snow. Not of great consequence, but snow anyway.
Okay.
In the higher terrains of
Well,
beautiful Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
and seeing that we were in a drought, severe drought status,
Yeah, I know.
it's good that we have a little wetness coming.
Yeah, I am intrigued with the rain that we got over 2 days. It was it last Thursday and Friday? It was 2 days in a row. Whatever
Yeah.
day it was, it rained like blazes one day, and then the next day, it picked up and it rained an awful lot. But they say some of the fires are still burning. Apparently, that they're very difficult to get out. There aren't new ones starting, but the old ones are still apparently kicking around. It's either a drought or there was a whole period of time. When was it? Back in the spring, in which it wouldn't stop raining.
Yes, yeah.
And
You
then
never would have thought we'd had a drought.
and then we went through an entire month. I watched that 5 o'clock news on Channel 5, and it was, so far, Worcester or the Worcester area has accumulated, 1.2 milliliters of rain during the course of the entire, of whatever month there was. Okay. Hey, I am reading that you have been traveling around all over the place. I saw LinkedIn. I still subscribe to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like Facebook for businesses. Okay.
Yep.
Everybody writes in. Everybody has opinions. Mostly ads for people and the rest of it. But who's ever doing is this Alex that
Yes.
does all of
Yes, it
this
is.
stuff?
Yep.
He's doing a great job.
Thank
okay?
you.
You were in California,
Yes. Yep.
Stanford. I'm sitting here and it was freezing cold whatever day I was doing this, and it might have been one of the rainy days I'm doing it. And I said, "Here's Michael and his beautiful bride," and they're in the
Oh,
sunshine.
actually, no, she was not with me.
She was not with you.
No, she was.
Forget what I said. Okay.
And it was a 2-day trip, actually 2.5. It was a conference dealing with.
You can always find conferences. can't you?
Well, I was actually very pleased. I got invited to this one it was the National Conference of State Legislators, and it was dealing with state legislative leadership or leaders dealing with artificial intelligence, the effects of international relation and international affairs, robotics,
Yeah.
and
all,
so
that
we had
all that stuff that you're doing a hell of a job.
So we had Condoleezza Rice.
Right.
We had Admiral James Ellis was there.
Yeah.
We had another woman that was actually part of the that had worked at the UN. So they went over the different conversations of things that had going on between the Ukraine and Russia, then China and Taiwan.
Yeah.
And then then we went and toured the life sciences section of Stanford, and then we toured the robotics section.
Where's Stanford? North?
No, south of San Francisco. Well, yes, north,
South.
but south of San Francisco. Yes,
North of Los Angeles.
yes, north of Los Angeles. Yeah,
Yeah, all I ever think of that's in California is
but the
Los
tough part,
Angeles, where my kid lives. Okay, he's lived there for years.
the tough part to get a direct flight, you had to leave between 6 and 7 in the morning.
Ooh,
So yeah, so I had to get to Logan on that Monday
oh,
by roughly 5 o'clock in the morning. So you have to get there a little early,
sure.
and then I landed in San Francisco and got to the hotel at 11:30, just in time to get the shuttle to the conference.
Gotcha.
And then coming back, the same thing. So I had to leave. I had to get to the airport in San Francisco by 7 a.m.
Jeez.
So again,
Morning flights, huh?
yeah, there was no direct flights.
Jennifer, who is back again. She was here for almost a month, and then she went back home to take care of her dogs and her house and all that sort of stuff. She came back this one, and she said, "Dad, I got a great deal on flights sitting in the business section." This is a kid that does line producing for films. So part of the job as a line producer is to do all the transportation and to pay for it for all of the actors who are traveling and all that sort of stuff. So she barely sneaks these great deals that she knows about, okay? Except she says, "I'm arriving in Boston at at 4:30 on a weekday night." I think it was a Thursday night. I said, "Jennifer," and she was renting a car to come out to beautiful downtown Shrewsbury, but she said, "Yep, it was a little bit of a slow." She said it was almost as long getting from Logan to Shrewsbury on the Mass Pike than it was to get from
California here.
from California, L.A. to here. Okay. In any event, the last time we did one of these programs was the very end of October.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, that was the one we did too. Mark Serra, who, by the way, is in charge of producing this program tonight because Liz is out ill. So we have Mark. And the one thing we did is we got actually real bottles of water here, or I do. Oh, you bought your own coffee. Christmas from Dunkin'. In any event, at the close of that program, we told everybody to vote. Please, please, please vote. It's so, so important. And if you want to know how Kevin and Virginia Byrne were inclined to vote, drive by 22 Elmer Circle where there are several Harris signs on the front lawn. Okay, and that was the one where we were going through the questions.
Yes. Yep.
You couldn't comment because you're a public official, and there are FCC rules and all that sort of good stuff anyway. And anyway,
So now that it's over,
so people came out to vote. Let me just tell you, Michael, as you well know, and if there's anybody in Shrewsbury who knows me or even knows of me, knows that I have been since baptism as a Roman Catholic at the Gate of Heaven Church in South Boston, a fervent liberal Democrat, okay? Always been, always have been. And we got clobbered nationally.
yeah,
It was absolutely intriguing. Virginia and I said this is gonna be real close, and all the polls were saying typical polls. This is a toss-up. We don't know how everything's gonna go. Trump the Republicans just blew we Democrats right out of the water everywhere. Even first time in a long time since Richard Nixon, they said that a Republican running for president actually got a majority. Not plurality. He got more votes.
yeah, the popular vote.
Popular.
I think didn't George Bush
Did he get it?
Jr. Didn't he get his second term? Not the first one.
Yeah, I don't
Second.
remember. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't
Not sure.
remember back then. I don't remember. I don't remember Republican presidents. Okay, but in any event, it did not go well for us on the national level, which to me was unfortunate. And all of my friends are saying, "My God, the world has ended." And I said, "Well, in a sense, from a political point of view, and maybe a national point of view, in our opinion, my opinion, it probably is. But life does have a way of going on."
Well,
Okay.
I was just going to say, if the election had gone the other way
Yeah.
and the other side was this unhappy and complaining,
Okay.
I think we would be saying, all right, look, you got to work together. We got to come together. We got to work together for the betterment of the country and the
Right.
people and all that.
Yeah.
So, he hasn't been sworn in yet. He hasn't instituted any of his policies,
Right.
and they control all three branches now. So now
That's right.
now the administration and the two branches have to follow through on the commitments they made. If they don't, they've got to answer to the voters. And some of the commitments that they made, we'll see the ramifications of those policies. And again, 2 years from now, the voters may come back and say, we made a mistake doing this, or they could come back and say, look, we like what he did.
Yeah. Right.
But I don't think we can, other than any constitutional changes which people worry about for the democracy, any policy or legislative that can be corrected.
Right.
It's just that we just got to make sure that there's no constitutional changes. And like I think I'm going to be like everyone. I think most people, and I'm pretty confident saying this. I'd be shocked if there's anyone who's not dismayed at some of the potential appointments that he's made.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
what.
not saying
that's-
all of them.
That's
Some
what I'm reading
some
in-
of them pretty
That's
outrageous.
why I'm avoiding reading all of that in the Boston Globe, which I read every single day, which carries the New York Times reports and the Washington Post things. And I'm saying, okay, now I'm going to go crazy over over these appointments, and you just have to shrug. And everything he said he was going to do, so far he has done, and
well-
potentially
So this morning he announced.
dangerous appointments.
So this morning he announced the tariffs that they're going to do for Canada, China, and Mexico.
Yeah.
I guess the initial reaction is that's going to increase costs for all of us here.
Sure.
I think what's some of the other thing he's already announced?
Why Canada? I read that.
I don't know.
Why Canada?
Don't know.
Virginia says it's probably because Canada does a lot of trading with China, and stuff could come into Canada and wend its way down to the great United States.
So then they've talked about which immigration is an issue that's got to be addressed, but
Right.
I think he's talked about trying to use the military for it. Is that legal? I mean, I guess if they declare a state of emergency or the insurrection, that can be done. We'll see what actually takes place. I mean, right now it's all speculation, and he's got these executive orders that they talked about doing.
Right.
Day one.
Right.
Until then, we can't. Until then, we can't panic.
Well, there is still a chance. It is constitutional that his appointments have to be approved by the Senate.
Yes.
Okay. And that there were apparently 3 or 4 of them who went to Mr. Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago or wherever he happens to be living, and said, Matt Gaetz is really not a good choice for Attorney General. And I always love it. I, Matt Gaetz, have decided for the good of the party that I'm going to withdraw my nomination. Okay. It don't work that way. He was told, Matt, you're out. Go away. Okay.
Yeah.
And he did. But it was unfortunate. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, other than the federal elections, all our federal elections, all of our congressmen,
Yep.
Jimmy McGovern was obviously reelected, and the entire slate of legislators, of constitutional officers,
Yeah.
all got reelected, and they were all Democrats. There were no changes there. And by the way, congratulations, you won your hotly contested campaign to continue to be our senator in the second Worcester district.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all the voters also.
You got it. You got it.
Thanks.
You got it. I didn't even see a sign this time. I have a couple of, I think more signs still in my garage. I have a garage full of lawn signs. I just
You know,
take them and put them in my garage.
everyone's so fixated and concentrating on the presidential campaign
Yeah,
that we kind of held back a little bit this year.
yeah.
So, and people are stressed about it. There are people a lot of angst. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of tough calling around when
Yeah.
you don't want to cause more stress for people on
Right.
whose signs out there. And
Especially when you don't have an opponent.
yes,
I always love politicians who say, afterwards, oh, it would have been so much better if there was opposition and we would have been able to, figure out all sorts of decisions as to what we were going to do and all that sort of stuff. That's all baloney, okay? Oh, I ran for moderator the first time in, believe it or not, 1970, 70 or 71, okay? And it was a big campaign. Phil Berkeley and I ran like we were running for Congress on that sort of thing. And I never had an opponent thereafter for about three-year term. I never had an opponent thereafter, okay? People say, don't you wish you had an opponent because then you could have debates and discussions? I said, oh yeah, I really did that with my fingers crossed. I said, of course you don't want an opponent, okay?
and I work very hard at trying to be out in the public.
Oh my God, you not only work at it, you succeed at it.
So I make myself available. If anyone that wants to know my opinion, I am never held back on where I stand politically and on issues.
Yeah.
So I go with him, and I don't just go party line.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and hopefully that's, people have faith that I am going to vote.
They do. They
So-
do. They do.
So,
I always love people who say, "Oh, we should have term limits." I said, we got a lot of good people who are in the legislature, okay, who are in national politics
Right.
in Massachusetts. All those, our senators and the rest of it. Oh, we should all have term limits. I said, we have term limits.
Yeah.
It's called an election,
Yeah.
okay? You don't like them, run against them, okay? But just say, okay, just because you're there for so many years.
and
That actually works for some. See how I have a double standard. In case anybody didn't realize, because I'm a fervent Democrat. It would be okay for several Republicans to run for office that had term limits on it. Okay, isn't that a terrible thing to say? Hey, we got to talk about some stuff. Alex Motafian.
Yes.
Motafian.
you got it.
I got it.
You got it.
I got all of the districts that you represent, and I got Motafian right. Alex sent me. I said, Alex. I always say Alex. A week or two before, I said, Alex, what do we think we should talk about on this? He says, well, let me put some stuff together for you, Kevin. And he got this for me, and I think it's 12 pages. There is enough in Alex's information to me and copy to you, obviously, because obviously this came from you, okay? About all the things that's been happening in the legislature, and you people have been very, very busy.
Yeah, so we
All right,
promised to get an economic development
All right, the
and
first thing
climate bill
I want to
done.
talk about is we now have an economic development bill.
Yep.
This has been kicked around for a very long period of time.
Yes.
Back and forth, ups and downs, added to, modified, changed, and finally, both the Senate and the House of Representatives finally came to an agreement,
Yep.
okay, on this program. And it is a $4 billion BS as in billion, infusion in the Commonwealth, wide-ranging policies. The bill will provide, just let me generalize it, as Alex says, support small businesses, communities, and cultural development, ensuring that businesses' main streets across the Commonwealth will benefit from the economic boost. And tons of information on it.
Yeah.
And that's followed by, Alex then decided to tell me about the new, what was it?
The climate bill?
The climate bill.
Yes.
Okay. And, I started looking through the climate bill and I said, Alex, this is way over my head, okay? But we have a whole lot of material. Let's talk about this economic development.
So there,
I mean, $4 billion is a lot of dough.
so just so people realize, when you see a $4 billion,
Yeah.
that's giving the authorization to the administration to borrow money.
Yeah.
The administration has a cap each year on how much they can borrow.
Yeah.
So when they look at this, they've also got to look at the housing bond bill,
Right.
and there was a general government bond bill.
Yeah.
So they have to piece all that together and take certain percentages to each of the max percentage that they can borrow each year.
Yeah.
So it's not, they don't, we can't be, so we don't want to be in a situation that, we hear about Washington with the complaint that the debt being so high, where every year we can only be, I think it's 30%, there's a certain percentage.
All we can say is the legislators, all 60 in the Senate and 260 in the House. How many in the House now?
There's 160
160.
and 40 in the Senate.
Oh, you're
You were
40.
actually having a flashback.
You're
There used to be,
Oh, it used to be that way.
That's
too,
right,
in
yeah.
the old days.
the old days, yes.
Okay, when I was still a Democrat in the old days. Okay. But in any event, it's people in the know who studied it, who went through it, and finally came up with a compromise, which is what government is about.
supposed to do.
It's what politics is about.
Yep.
It's the art of compromise, okay? That we have voted to make available $4 billion worth of dollars.
Yes.
And people will come in and they'll come in with their projects, and it will be determined on I'm going to say almost a case by case basis.
Yeah, basically it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically how it works. Okay.
So one of the amendments we got through was a election from protecting elections from deep fakes.
Oh,
So if
yeah,
every- if
no,
every-
these are Senator Moore's amendments to this economic bond bill.
So what this is, if everyone remembers in the primary,
All right,
up in New Hampshire.
elections from the deep fakes.
Yep.
Tell
So
us about that.
everyone remember up in New Hampshire during the primary, someone used AI
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
simulate the president's
Right.
Biden's voice to
Yeah.
tell people not to vote.
Yeah.
So this would make that illegal.
Yeah.
Then we also did a study of the auto body labor rates, established a commission to look at that, because there's an issue between the rates that the auto body industry claims that they need to stay in business, and then what the insurance companies are charging and what they're keeping. So we established a commission to look at the rates.
Okay.
We also did. I'm also on the artificial intelligence
All right.
advisory for the governor's office.
This is one of the things I want to talk about, because I never heard about this. A Central Mass Cyber Range
Yes.
in caps. What the blazes is a Central Mass Cyber Range?
So basically, what you have right now, you have Bridgewater State University
Yeah.
has. If you go in, it's a small auditorium, and if you look at the wall where the stage was or the wall is, it's all computer screens. And then you have different stations, probably I'm going to say 30, 40 stations where people will be sitting, and you have students who are being taught everything they need to know about cybersecurity. And actually, as part of the curriculum and part of their responsibilities, they're actually helping some of the smaller municipalities in providing some of the cyber protection.
Some security. Huh?
So basically, there's one in Bridgewater that's open. They're constructing one right now in Springfield.
Okay.
So I was able to get a $5 million bond authorization to have Worcester State University and Quinsigamond Community College establish one here in Central Mass.
That sounds great.
So they could help the communities here and also provide this. We need people in this with this experience
Okay.
and
Now,
skill.
there's another one I want to talk about. $3 million for an AI Financial Innovation and Research Center in Worcester.
Yes.
Worcester. I'm back saying
Worcester.
Worcester again. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, this is looking at from the stock market to whatever financial activity, financial industries we involved in.
Yeah.
This will be utilizing artificial intelligence. So basically, instead of calling that stockbroker,
Yeah.
and this is just one example, instead of calling that stockbroker and saying, what's your prediction, you could have access to a computer system, an AI system that would give you the history, the current status, future projections based on all the different economic data that it's maintaining, and then that's one example of it. Or it could be used for other sort of financial
Okay.
planning.
You know the irony of this. One of your amendments is to prohibit the AI from involving themselves with fraud. Okay. And in the other one, you basically paying AI. I mean, this place in Worcester, money to progress the AI.
Well, hopefully it wouldn't
I'm saying,
progress
hey,
fraud.
where is he on? Where is he standing?
Hopefully it
Is
would.
this wishy-washy? No, that's a joke, okay? For Shrewsbury, economic improvements to create a master plan, a
Yes.
redevelopment plan for vacant buildings and the economic development of the town of Shrewsbury. Very, very important.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right.
Oh, another thing that we did with part of this, just so everyone knows, we have a shortage of nurses and physicians.
Oh, yeah.
So this actually makes Massachusetts part of the National Nursing Licensure Compact.
Yeah.
So now we'll have so actually it's going to be reciprocity amongst the states, so that nurses can come here
Okay.
and they can be admitted and they can work in the hospitals and the nursing homes and the various institutions.
Great.
And we also do it for foreign trained physicians also, where they have to meet a certain standard,
That's-
but allows them to use their credentials
That's
from
a
other
great
countries.
idea. The other thing that I say, policy changes, ticket transparency,
Yes.
big problem. Tell me about that.
Basically now you can't, when you go online
Yeah,
and you see $58 for a ticket,
right.
and then when you go through and you check it out and you're paying 200,
Yeah.
there's got to be transparency in the ticket pricing. You got to know what you're
And
paying
you
for.
hear so frequently, everybody who wants to go here, a wonderful female, I can't call her a rock star. She's a country and western person named Swift.
Oh, Taylor
And
Swift,
they
yes,
were
yeah.
paying outrageous prices for tickets. Okay, I love this one because of my involvement in live theater tax
Oh.
credits.
Yes.
$7 million annually to support local live theater productions, which will help artists working toward Broadway, off-Broadway, launch national tours. So important. Hanover Theater brings in at least 7 of them during the course of their season,
Yep.
and they're what we in the theater call truck and bus shows. Okay, they are national tours that come in, and the truck, the equipment comes in the truck, and they go in the bus, and they'll travel all over, literally all over the country, and it is so great to see that get involved. Okay?
Yeah. So this dovetail. When we
If I was down there, rather than 7 mil, I would have made it 14 mil.
with this dovetailed upon the film tax credit. When we were
Okay.
doing that, they
All right,
expanded
believe
this.
it or not, Michael, we have completed our time on this show. And Mark, who's not waving my hand, but I'm looking at the clock, says 000. Please join us again the next time, which will be very, very shortly, and have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody in the Second Worcester District.
And if we don't see you before the other holidays come up, wishing everyone a happy holiday, however you celebrate it, and whatever faith.
Okay, thank you, folks.